Hello, we are back again for some more Euro Truck Sim. Experimental beta 1.35. God, how glad am I that this is out eventually. Um, I've been experimenting with it today and it's been running fairly well. Although I have to tone it down a little bit in order to yeah, I have to turn the graphics down a little bit in order to be able to stream it because I'm doing it all off of one little laptop. So, right, let's go. What can we do? So, at the moment, we don't have a job on board at all. Let's just move this microphone out the way a touch. Oh, sorry about the noises. Right, yeah, I've had to turn my graphics down a touch because I'm streaming from the same PC that I'm playing the game on, so it's not going to be as good as it normally is when I'm playing single player. But we're running on 1440p. I did try 1080p, but to be honest, I have been pretty spoilt since I've had my 1440p monitor, and it's, I don't know, call it whatever. I just find it a bit difficult to play 1080p on a lot of games these days, especially when it comes to things like looking at the speedo, looking at the small digits on it, and 1080p. I can't see the damn things. Um, oh, bear with me 1 second. Just need to quickly change something. ABS, what is going on here? It's not quite doing what it should be doing. Come on. Studio mode. My webcam and everything appears to be missing. Let's chuck the webcam up there, shall we? Because I don't think that's going to get in the way of anything. Right. Hopefully you can hear me and the game. We live in hope. I'm not very good with all this technology stuff, with hooking up to YouTube, and I'm very much still a work in process. Right, so anyway, back to experimental 1.35 beta and DirectX 11. It is absolutely awesome. Now, you're going to see frame drops on the stream, and to be honest, it's not as smooth as I'd like it to be. But unlike DirectX 9, even when this... Oh, good God, another bloody speeding offence. Even when this gets jerky, it's drivable. Now, with DirectX 9, all I was getting was literally the whole thing freezing, which was a bit of a pain in the buttocks. But now, rather than freezing, you just get this sort of noticeable drop in frame rate every now and again. Normally when I'm in town. However, if I'm not streaming, it is absolutely spot on. I've just done a 1250 mile job, 1440p, set on high to ultra, graphics wise, without a single stutter hiccup or anything. It has been absolutely brilliant. And I can't stress that enough. It's just been an absolute joy to drive and play. These people are all very polite. Now, as I said, it is going to stutter and mess around a bit while I'm streaming, because I'm using a gaming laptop with a GTX 980 in it, but being the mobile variant of the graphics card, it's not quite as powerful as a normal GTX 980 is. So it does the job for me, but I don't know, not as good as I would like it. You know, if it becomes a problem during the stream, what I'll do is drop the graphics levels down a bit more. But the main demonstration and the biggest thing that I'm getting all sort of like happy about and whatnot is no more stutter. I'm not sort of like stop start stop start stop start waiting for it all to make its mind up what it's doing. At worst, maybe the game doesn't run as smooth as I'd like it to, but it's doing pretty well. Freight market, what job are we going to have? Let's have that one. I don't know how many miles it is. They're all fairly lengthy from here anyway, so I might as well have the one for 86k. Your trailer is ready. Now, of course, the downside with 1.35 beta is, whilst I'm using this, I am no longer able to play around. Oh God, that was awful. I'm no longer able to play around with ProMods 2.40, which I was thoroughly enjoying. But to be honest with you, oh my God, I wasn't waiting too much. Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't care. Because as I said, I mean, especially when I'm not streaming, the gameplay is just so much nicer. I can't stress this enough. And if you're running a high-end machine that wasn't doing too well on DirectX 9, you are gonna absolutely love this. I just hope they don't go back and change their mind. What's going on here? Is he really stopping there to let me go halfway in the junction? Let's get out of town and see how the graphics go. I know, need be, I will lower the graphics down. Oh my good God. Really? Really, really? Oh, can I swear now? Just piddle off. Go, take a leak somewhere. Oh. There's going to be another accident. Still, could be worse. Right, so I said, let's get out of town, see what happens with the frame rate. If need be, I'll drop the graphics down a little bit and we'll see what's going on. And we're speeding again, that's going to be another fine if I'm not careful. I do like a fine in this game. My poor laptop is struggling at the moment. trying to do pretty much everything I could with OBS so that it would run a bit smoother, but OBS on its own is a little bit hungry, and then when you put the game on, it tends to eat up my graphics card very quickly. Fortunately, even though it's a laptop, I don't suffer from overheat problems. It's not something I have to worry about. I've got a little mini table that my laptop sits on underneath my desk, and the shelf underneath, well, the shelf that the computer sits in, I cut about a 12-inch hole in it and mounted a desk fan underneath it, so if I want to push the laptop and overclock it a little bit, I can do just by turning the fan on, and that gives me a little bit of extra horsepower in the PC if I need it. Right, going back to experimental 1.35 beta, when you install it, when you go to Steam, right click on ETS2 properties, and it will show at the very top experimental beta, but no version number on it. Just take it for granted that that's 1.35. I can confirm it is. It doesn't run DirectX 9 as standard. You have to go into the CFG file, look for the bit that mentions DX9, and basically change the 9 to an 11, save the file, and Bob's your uncle, you're all ready to go. It should then boot up in DirectX 11. Now, the other thing that I found, that on DirectX 11 there was no native support for 1440p, so I had to go back into the CFG file and I had to enter my 2560 by 1440 manually into that. 1080p, you won't have to bother with any of that. That should be absolutely fine. In fairness, if I run in 1080p and stream, it does run a lot better again, but I don't know. I've just got a bit of a snobby attitude nowadays, and I like my 1440p, so that's pretty much that. Seeing we're going to come to pretty much a standstill here, I'm going to have a quick look at the graphics options. And see what we can lower it down to, just to see if it'll run a bit smoother. Simple settings, what we're on, that reckons we're on ultra. Let's knock it down to medium. Bright light. And let's see how medium graphics go. I'm probably going to look at it and go, I can't live with that, and go back, but whichever. Now, I said in previous videos, I've only had this game a few days, so I feel quite privileged in the sense that, unlike a lot of people, I haven't had to wait for DirectX 11 more than a couple of days, so I think I'm quite lucky in that respect. Right, there we go. Knocked it down. Seems to be holding 60 frames per second. Doesn't look as nice as it did, but it looks nice enough. But the biggest thing is getting rid of that stuttering, because that was going to give me another heart attack. I've had enough of them already. I don't need any more. So getting rid of that stuttering to me, that was almost a game breaker. It was almost enough to make me give up with the game. But now they've sorted it, I am very, very happy, boys. Why can't you see anything on the screen? You guys are looking at a black screen, aren't you? Why? Oh God. What's going on with this? Transition. Game capture. Properties. Euro Truck Simulator 2. Done. Transition. Why have you got a blank screen? This should not be happening. Because I am looking at the game. Okay, maybe we're going to have to... Didn't really want to do this, but maybe we're just going to have to quit out the game quickly. And then go back in. Problems, problems, problems. Forever problems. Now, I do have a couple of other interesting little things that I'm not sure about. Right, World of Trucks, that's not working at the moment either on 1.35. That doesn't sort of surprise me. Right, Alt-Tab OBS. OBS, it's back. So, make sure it transitions over. Where's my webcam gone? Transition. Is that properly centralised? Must be. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Trying to remember everything that I've discovered along the journey that would help anybody that watches this. Right, 1.35. Don't run it in full screen mode. The reason for saying this is that if you alt-tab out of it, you won't be able to get back into it again. You're going to have to sort of like crash close again in order to restart it. So you want to run it on a borderless window if you can. If you come out of full screen mode, just in the game settings, and that should automatically do that for you. World of Trucks, the global market, as of yet, from what I see, it doesn't work, or I can't get it working. DirectX 11, I told you about that. You've got to put that manually into the CFG file. There's lots of new interesting things in it. Like we've now got 3-speed wipers as opposed to 2-speed wipers. Now I do have one problem with this, and I'm hoping somebody in the comments at some point is going to give me a definitive answer. When I run the game vanilla with no mods, I don't seem to have any environment sounds like passing cars, trucks coming the opposite direction, helicopters, planes flying above, roadworks. These are all sounds that I'm pretty much used to, but I've hardly played the game vanilla, and I don't know whether these sounds come with the vanilla game or whether it is only available with mods. I've looked at every setting I can find in the CFG file. I can't find anything that would stop them from working. I've looked at every setting I can find in the options files, and likewise, you know, there's very limited sound controls in there anyway, so I can't find anything in that would make a difference. So, I mean, should I be able to hear the traffic? I would have thought so. I'm just wondering why I can't. Now, this isn't a this isn't a 1.35 problem for me because I had this on 1.34 as well. Unless I had mods installed, I've got no environment sound. So if somebody could leave a message in the chat regarding that, if they know, I would appreciate an answer because then I know whether I've got to get my mitts into the CFGs and all of that lot and work out what the blooming heck's going on, why I've got no sound. I mean, obviously I've got the truck inside and I've got petrol station sounds, all that sort of stuff, but, you know, I just can't hear traffic. I don't understand why. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this new version for quite a long time. As I said, we've now got 3-speed wipers. They've done some road reworks in Germany. The island of Sardinia has been added, which I've not got around to going into yet. I did see it on last night's SCS stream and it all looked very, very nice. Although I've got to say, last night's SCS stream I found really, really frustrating. I know I'm not the only person, but many people were asking, you know, when's 135 going to be available? Is it going to be DirectX 11 compatible? And they just completely ignored the questions and they looked for anything else to talk about other than the two main questions that I've got to say 60% of the chat on the stream was looking at. Now, to be honest, watching a 3-hour stream, I only watched it because I was waiting for information and there was none, and that was just so frustrating. So SCS, if you're listening to this at some point, please do me a favour. Don't just ignore the questions, especially when you've got a message at the beginning of the stream saying please feel welcome to answer questions. Don't just ignore the questions and scoot round them. Even if you can't give us a definitive answer, say so. You know, you could have said last night, well, we're trying to get 135 out, hopefully for this week, but it might be delayed. DirectX 11, it should be included, but we can't guarantee it as yet at the moment. They could have said something as opposed to nothing. You know, that way, people like me wouldn't have been sat there watching a 3-hour stream that I didn't really have the time for to come away with absolutely no answer to the main questions whatsoever. So that was a bit frustrating last night, guys. It kind of put me off watching your streams, to be honest. Please don't do that to us again. That wasn't very nice. But anyway, other than that, congratulations on 1.35, because from where I'm sitting and from my little experimentations with it today, it is brilliant. I would abbreviate that with an expletive, but with a nice chunky swear word or something, you know, just to emphasise the fact. But I try as much as possible not to swear on the stream. I tend to be a little bit naughty with my language sometimes anyway, that, you know, I could do without that. This truck on the right is speeding almost as much as I am. If I want to get past him, I've got to put the hammer down. Now, as good as 135 is, I've got to be honest, I am missing pro mods. Those guys have done an awesome job with 2.40. It's the first version of it I've ever seen. I've got nothing else to compare with. being that I'm new to the game. I've got to say, I absolutely love the game in the short time that I've been playing it. Um, Makes a nice change from racing all the time. Gives me something nice and relaxing to do. Whoever's just joined, if you've got any questions about 1.35 or you want to know anything, please just type it in chat and I'll tell you what I can from my limited knowledge. But yeah, 1.35, complete with DirectX 11, has absolutely transformed this game for me, because it was so laggy on DirectX 9, I was almost about to give up with it. And as I said earlier, I've knocked my graphics settings down to medium on 1440p. I can run it on Ultra in 1440p, but not while I'm streaming, so unfortunately I can't show you the full glory of it. But I mean, as you can see from looking at the stream, it's stutter free. You know, it's like miraculous. I've had several days of trying to sort that stutter out with no... Oh dear. The amount of forums I've read, you know, 4chan, 8chan, SCS forum, reading through Steam, God knows what else I've looked at, trying to get an answer on how to make it stop stuttering, and I couldn't find anything that worked. And yet DirectX 11 in 1.35 has solved the problems for me. It is an absolute game changer. Absolute game changer. Whoops. Drifting lanes a little bit. Don't drive very well when I'm streaming, because I'm trying to keep an eye on my tablet to see if anybody's watching or if anybody says anything in chat, etc, etc, and to make sure that I'm streaming properly. And I'm still not confident about all that, so I tend to waver around the road a little bit when I get distracted. Well, I hope everybody's having a great day. Looking forward to a fine weekend. Nice for them to release 1.35 just before the weekend. Give people plenty of time to play with it, experiment with it. Can only guess at how long it'll be in experimental beta form for. And I'm not sure that modders are going to bother updating their stuff for an experimental beta, but I'm quite happy waiting. And said, to be fair, I'm just glad that stutter's gone, because, you know, it was very, very almost a game breaker for me. It really was. But now, I mean, look at it. It's been trucking on fine since I reduced the graphics. And considering I'm streaming all this from a laptop at the same time, you know, if you've got a decent machine with a 1080, you're going to be able to run this 1440, you know, ultra settings, I would imagine, without too much problem at all. The only thing I can't do with my GTX 980, I can't run the scaling up too much. If I'm playing away from the stream, I can get it up to about 125, 150%, set the graphics on ultra, and that'll drop the frame rate from about 60 down to 55. And then if I just want to get rid of the last little bit of lags or something, maybe I'll reduce the mirror quality or the mirror distance, and that's enough to sort it. Um, but as I said, this one thing that's bugging me at the moment is no environmental sounds, and I just don't know whether that's in the vanilla game or not, or whether it's just mods that bring that in. So please, 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 if anybody can answer that question, let me know. Try googling it, but it, all it brings up when I put ETS2 in and sound or whatever, it just brings up mod after mod after mod. It doesn't actually answer the question that I'm trying to get the answer to. Well, I am really impressed with the way it's running. As I said, considering I'm streaming as well from the same graphics card on the same laptop, it's doing very, very well. I would imagine I'm going to lose a few frames maybe when I go into a town, but I mean, I've been trying to keep an eye on it while I'm driving, and I haven't seen it drop from 60 frames per second once at the moment, so that's enough to keep an old man like me happy. Look, there you go, 57, 61, dropped down a couple, but didn't really notice it on screen. Okay. See if we can get past these things. Oh no, there's always a car or something that pulls out. Do not kill my momentum, or I will be pushing you down the motorway. Now I've still got the fatigue simulation turned off. But I've noticed that you turn the fatigue simulation off, and I thought I'd turn that off to give me a little bit of extra time to do the job so I didn't get any more late ones. But I think as soon as you turn it off, it takes that extra time off the job anyway, so I'm not actually gaining anything. I mean, I've only had one late job, but one late job's enough. Cost me about 10 grand or something stupid like that for being, well, probably less. I arrived on time, but that was the reversing the trailer into place, and by the time I got a trailer in place, it registered as a late job, and that was it. I was done. No, that's my sound system just turned off, so I can't hear nothing now. I use a Samsung soundbar as my PC speakers because, well, I had it in the television in the front room and nobody ever uses it. They always said, oh, as soon as we put the soundbar on, the volume on the film gets too high and we have to keep turning it up and down and up and down. And I agree, that does drive me a little bit insane, to be honest, as well, when I'm watching a movie on it. But putting the soundbar on the PC, a little subwoofer on the floor, it's quite nice, let's say. Although my computer desk at the moment has gotten very messy, and since I started streaming, I've ran out of room. I needed to add a little mixer, bang a steering wheel on the desk. I've got nowhere for the keyboard. I've got to completely rethink my my little station. Oh, here's my little pussycat. Hello. No, you can't get on my lap. No, it's my lap. Oh, Teddy, please. No, no, no. I'm going to say no this time. And cuddle up later. He's getting on a bit, bless him. He forever wants cuddles or something. God help me if he wants food and I'm busy. He does not leave me alone. Bites the back of the ankles and all sorts of stuff to get attention. And he won't wait. Everything's got to be like now, 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 now. We keep the cats as pets, but I think they hang around because they think we're their slaves. Simple as that. And so he wants anything, it's like instant, it's got to be done now. Otherwise he just kicks up a fuss. I've got another two cats as well, but they're not quite as high maintenance as he has. Bless him, he's a bit of a princess. Oh no, that wasn't a mistake. I did mean princess and not prince. He's... driving into the sun. Somebody mentioned turning bloom effects off, but I don't know. In some ways I quite like them. Only thing is, just can't see bugger all. Just trying to think what else I can possibly tell people about this. I think in some ways it's a shame that you have to edit the CFG file to get DirectX 11 working. I would imagine some people just won't realise that it's there and won't gain the benefits from it. But I'm sure SCS in their wisdom had a reason for doing it that way. And I imagine there's maybe they're protecting limits of the game engine. I honestly don't know. I tend to think that because they disabled the option for 1440p as well, as I said. So I mean, I had to enter the 2560 by 1440 into the CFG. I had to add the DX11 into the CFG as well. As I keep saying, I am very new to this. I am very new to this game, so I couldn't really tell you any of the changes they've made to roads, other than things like Sardinia, obviously, that I know's new and know wasn't there before, but I probably wouldn't recognise a new road from an old road at the moment, with my limited experience in the game. But I've got to say, 1.35, I am impressed. After a very short amount of time setting it up, it's been an absolute game changer. I don't understand though. They've put no documentation on the website as yet. I checked it just before I started the stream again. There was no documentation to say that the experimental beta had been released. There's no documentation talking about DirectX 11 or how to engage it. No information about, going over 1080p. But certainly by the end of today I will go back into the forum and I will leave the devs some feedback on what I think so far. I can't really, other than the lack of documentation, any explanation on how to get DirectX 11 working or whatnot, I can't think of anything to moan about whatsoever. I mean, if you're watching the stream, you can see how smoothly it's running, and I can honestly say this game has never run this well for me. So, a little bit of a frame drop there, but again, no jerkiness. It just, at worst now you'll get a little warping factor. You might. Or maybe you'll just notice a frame drop in gameplay, but it won't actually stutter and stop and start and drive you insane like it was me. Oh my god, I made a complete mess of that. Almost missed the turn off. Too busy talking, not looking where I'm going. Right, how are we doing on fuel? Half a tank, 612 miles. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Let's have a look on the map quickly. So we're on our way to Bourges. Just the other side of Lyon. I can pronounce Lyon because somebody else used to live there that I know. But, that's another thing I think that's new is secondary names on the map. So you'll have sort of like the proper name of it that us English people can't read, and then you'll have sort of like an English version of the name that we can understand, which I found was very, very useful. You have to turn it on in options in order to use it. It's a secondary name function. Oh, that was the other thing that's new. They've added in, as far as I know, for a long time we've had trailer stability, and you've got a slider to make the trailer stable all the time or unstable. They've added 2 more settings to that now, so you've got a cab sensitivity, so a cab stability, so you can slide it all the way to the right and get more of a simulation of sort of like what it would be like. And they've also added a suspension slider so that you can stiffen or relax the suspension, which is quite interesting. I put it on soft suspension to start off with, which was fun. Every time you go round the corner it feels like the cab's going to fall over. It gets quite a tilt to it. But I've got the stability side of it. I've got that all the way up to the max, I think. Now see, when I go under this helicopter, I should be able to hear it, shouldn't I? Listening. I hear no helicopter. I don't understand what's going on with the sounds. I can't imagine for 1 minute that they would have left road, environment sounds out of the base game. I can't think that a motorway simulator wouldn't have the sound of the other traffic on the road as well as the purr of your engine from the truck. But the other thing I found is, like, the truck's very quiet anyway. I find I have to wrap my volume up quite a long way on the sound bar so I can hear the truck, and then if I forget to turn it down again, I go into something in Windows, I end up waking up the neighbourhood. I'd imagine there's something in the CFG I can do to the sound files for that one, but I can't find anything for environmental sound effects. It's got me scratching my head, that one. Oh man, this game is running so smoothly, it's a luxury compared to what I've had over the past few days. Right, I should be able to hear this truck next to me, and I can't. Unless I start feeding mods in. And I sort of confused myself because when I first installed the game, I could have sworn there was traffic sounds, and then I put mods in, and again there was traffic sounds. But then when I took all the mods out to put 135 in, no traffic sounds. But to be fair, I had the same on 1.34 when I was trying to sort out the frame rate issues on 1.34, and I took all the mods out. There was just no environmental sounds again, and it's got me scratching my head a little bit as to why. I can't see anything, that I would think is obviously wrong, or there's no. I wish there was more volume options in the menus. Maybe you could get the truck a little bit louder. Because I find it's a little bit too. Oh God. AI traffic. Love them or hate them. Got annoyed with the AI earlier. I did it was about a 1,500 mile journey. It was absolutely incident free. And then the last roundabout before the drop off, I've got priority. I'm going round the roundabout, and an AI car comes screaming down the dual carriageway, ignores the fact that there's a roundabout completely, and crashes straight into the side of the trailer. Right, okay, so failed. You will be paying damages. I was not happy. Get that one out of the way. Sell plan. I'm kind of missing a couple of mods at the moment. I don't know, they may work with 1.35, I'm not sure, but I normally have Jazzy Cat's AI traffic mod, which I've got to say, thoroughly enjoy that one. And I normally have the truck and company names, so you've got real world companies and truck liveries and whatnot. I quite like that. I find it adds to the realism of the sim a little bit when you see some more real world stuff in it. Now I know why it's not in there. I mean, game developers can't do it because of copyright and whatnot, but it's easier for modders to get away with a lot more without getting hooked up with all those sort of problems. So. Full beam's pretty good on this. Raise the toll bridge. Open the gates. I've actually been spoilt this week. I've seen two amazing battles this week. I watched Game of Thrones on Monday with the winter is finally here in the battle, and managed to see it before I got too many spoilers. And I also saw Endgame, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. I'm not going to say a thing about it other than wow, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might not have seen it yet, but you will enjoy if you are a Marvel fan. And I will say no more than that. The same with Game of Thrones. If you haven't seen it yet, for whatever reason, I won't tell you what happened other than it was a big battle, but we all knew that was coming anyway, so I wouldn't class that as a spoiler. I don't think I have seen a single stutter in the whole of this journey. Maybe a couple of frame drops, but no stutter whatsoever. Now I think this evening, I don't normally stream in the evenings, mainly during the day, which probably isn't the best time to be honest, but normally by the evening I'm pretty worn out, but I think I'll probably sit down somewhere comfy with the laptop and without the steering wheel and start messing around and seeing what mods I can get to work with 1.35, if any. I'm not sure if they're going to work because of DirectX 11 or not, but it's always worth a try. You never find out unless you actually try. I'm not permanently going to be able to break anything, so so the other thing I want to do is look into this sound. Well, I don't know if it's an issue or not. I just can't imagine the base game not having environment sounds. And being I haven't got any, it just tends to make me think that something is missing or something is wrong. And I can't find out what. So that's probably tonight's plan. Let's try turning it. Let's turn my soundbar up much louder than I usually have it. so I can listen out for these sounds, but like I say, if anybody knows the answer to that, please tell me. You're probably getting an echo of the game sound now, because I said I had the... Right, there we go, wandering all over the road again as I'm looking at the tablet. Torino. Move over, give them room to come out. Oh, I managed to reach the mic in that one. Oh, looks like we're coming off. Yeah, so anyway, if you mess around with the trailer and the truck stability and the suspension, some corners like this can be almost terrifying if you hit them quick enough. I did once earlier, managed to have the truck and the trailer up on its right hand wheels only. Quite entertaining. Well, that was interesting. The retarder came on then, and I've turned that off from automatic. It still works on the cruise control to maintain the speed or keep it sort of like... Well, I've told it not to vary, so if I set it at 51, it should stay at 51. I see the retarder come on automatically there, but I took it off from the braking so that I had to put it on myself if I needed it. Because I haven't got a gear stick at the moment, or the SKRS device, I'm trying to add as much into the game as I can. You know, things that you've got to do. But looking forward, hopefully in the near future, to getting the gear stick and the SKRS adapter for it. It should add another level of difficulty to the game rather than just having it on automatic. And 366 miles remaining. I'm quite intrigued to what the next DLC might be for this. I was kind of hoping that Spain was going to be on the map, and I don't quite understand why it isn't. It's always one of my favourite places to sort of go and visit on holiday and whatnot, and I can't go there in the game. And the modding side of it, I haven't quite worked out how to stitch all the various maps together yet. I need to watch a lot more YouTube videos before I work that one out, I think. I'll be watching more of Squirrel or Clumsy. Oh, big bump. Big bump. Why is this one going so slow? Oh, I think he's got the same trailer that I'm got. Have I got that trailer? I don't even know what trailer I've got on at the moment. Whoa! What happened there? Oopsie daisy. The car has mounted a Mini. Sorry, the truck has mounted a Mini. That's a lot of truck to be mounting such a little car. Don't think I've seen that incident before. A truck mounting a car. Although I think in yesterday's stream there may have been a mention of some new events, sort of random events or whatever. How true all that is, I don't know. God, it's all very dark here. It's like darker than dark. Ugh. Man flu, hate it. Oh, back up to a 56 limit. Mine 50 limit is a little bit laborious. Oh. Oh, that'll be because I've turned the graphics down. That's why it's lighting up as we're going into it. As I said earlier, 1.35 on my little laptop. I can run it at 150% scaling, 1440p on DirectX 11 with ultimate details. But I can't do that when I'm streaming, unfortunately. Oh, scan your trailer. I don't remember seeing that before in the vanilla game. Could well have been, but as I said, I've been playing the game for so little, I don't know really what's what, but I don't remember seeing the Scania one before. And I haven't looked at the new ownable trailers yet, because The simple reason I don't own any trailers. Um, Still operating on limited funds, and I think I'm level 20 at the moment. As soon as I've got majority of the truck stuff unlocked, like the 700 plus horsepower engines and whatnot, then I will probably buy a trailer or two and start buying garages and blah 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 blah. But my first priority is always getting a nice truck. I think that's a bit unfair. That it was an instant speeding offence. And the second I went over the line, I got a ticket. Yeah. Normally you get a certain amount of braking distance, I would have thought, before a ticket's issued. At least maybe 50 or 100 yards to reduce your speed. That was pretty good going. A ticket and an accident violation all in one go. Ooh, them near mountains look nice in the dark mistiness. What we got going on here? Roadworks, 30 limit. Do find I use cruise control a lot with this. Let's turn my fan on a sec. Now, 20 minutes ago or so, I was feeling cold, and now I'm blooming sweating again. Right, you promise I can go 56, I won't get a ticket, and then I'll go down to a 50 limit instantly. I find some of the speed limits can be a little bit frustrating. You sort of come out of a roundabout, it'll tell you it's 56, and then 50 yards down the road, it'll tell you it's 43. And if you miss the sign, it's like speeding ticket. Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention to the signs around me. Well, I'm just wondering actually if some of my Steam mods are still tied into this. I really don't know. I'm going to have a look. And there was that moment when I thought the cruise control was on and it wasn't. 50, why has it changed? I say, more than anything else in this game, I just love the scenery, the sunrises, the sunsets, the moon rises. And now it's running smoothly, it just makes the experience so much better. It really does. I mean, even considering we're on medium graphics at the moment, You know, the environment around you, it just looks so nice. You might have to wait until you get closer to the signs on medium and whatnot before they reveal themselves clearly, but in general. See, so the lighting distance at the moment on medium, it's the street lamps don't sort of like affect the road until you get quite close to it, but I sort of expect stuff like that when you drop the graphics levels down. Which I said, I've only done so I can stream it. I'm kind of wishing I had a second PC to stream from so that I could, stream the game in its full glory in 1440p, because it really just it looks sensational. And I'm supposed to be turning right here. Too busy talking. Natter, not paying attention to where I'm going. Oh, that's annoying. So really, I could turn right quickly and unlock the discoverable, but I just can't be bothered. I'm just going to carry on and knock the delivery out. Not really in any hurry to 100% unlock everything. It's at the moment it's just a sheer joy travelling around the map in the world and what have you. Oh, speeding again. That 32, that should do. Leon. As soon as I set the cruise control, oops. Hard-working police. Don't they ever have a day off? Well, this is one of the things I love the game. I can no longer drive on the road. I didn't do anything wrong, but I had to surrender my driving licence for health reasons, so I can no longer drive anymore, which is a real pain in the arse, because driving was always a very, very big part of my life. And the racing games, I love them, they're fun, but they don't give you that sense of, just going out for a drive. And coming across this game was a bit of a godsend, because it almost replaces the urge to want to go and drive somewhere, or do whatever, because I really do miss driving. I was never happier than sat behind the wheel of something, whether it was a van, a 7.5 tonner, my own little cars, the Bentley that I was chauffeuring, and whatever it was, I was never happier than sitting behind the wheel of a car and driving. Sitting still and waiting around, that's a different story. That used to drive me insane. If I was actually in motion, always very, very happy. What have we got left? 177 miles and not a lot of fuel. We're not quite down to the... Whoa. No, he can brake quickly enough. do love some of these roadside incidents. Some of them make me giggle a little bit. What we got here? Burnt out car. Open. I don't want to dent the truck. Thank you. Right, I must think of fuel. See, the other thing, tyres don't seem to last very long on these trucks. I don't know, that's generally a thing with trucking, you know. I imagine trailers go through tyres, you know. When I was on the road, forever seeing sort of like wheels on trailers locking up as the drivers hit the brakes and whatnot, but actual truck tyres, I thought they would have lasted sort of like a few, well, I'm lucky to get 1,000 miles out of these, 1,500 miles before I'm sort of like see red marks or orange marks on them. It's like, oh, it's time to change it. Let's go and get some fuel. Oh. I made the mistake of going onto the inside one earlier and I couldn't get the trailer through it. Just as well I learnt about the teleport function. It was only literally the other day I learnt about console commands and being able to teleport and, you know, look further away from your truck than normal and all that sort of stuff. Some very, very useful stuff in the console. I don't know what half of it does. Ooh! I don't know what half of it does yet, but I will get there eventually. It's alright that way. Straight past this one. I can't remember what's in this trailer, but there's absolutely no weight on it at all. No, wrong button. That button. And here comes the rain. Good chance to try out these 3-speed wipers. Might be a bit overkill, but maybe that means they're going to increase the rain. Storms will get stormier. It's another thing, lightning. I don't hear thunder. Surely I should be able to hear thunder inside the cab. Makes me wonder, where the hell are my environmental sounds and why can't I hear them? Houston, I think we have a problem. But I'm not sure, because I only get these things when I put the mods in. So I tried one of the improved sound mods. Sorry, I can't remember who it was by. But oh my god, the thunder came in and I nearly messed myself. Talk about blooming loud. Because I have the game turned up quite a bit because the engine sounds are pretty quiet in this and what have you. And of course that thunder cracked in and the wife come in from the living room. What the bloody hell's that noise? It's so loud. Beep, 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 beep. That is something I am missing, the environmental sounds. It's sort of, it's a bit surreal just hearing the engine and the wipers and indicators and things and nothing else. No. But again, I've tried researching it and I can't see any mention of it anywhere on the internet whatsoever. Well, we've got 2 hours and 9 minutes left to deliver this section. And 99 miles. 50 miles an hour, that means I'll probably just about make it, but come on, open the gate. Are you staying in that lane? Like a 56 limit. Yeah, so obviously if you turn the fatigue system off, unlike there was me hoping that it would give me an extra 3 hours or so to complete a job, it doesn't seem to work that way at all. Maybe it's just part of trucking. It's almost impossible to get anywhere on time these days. I can well believe it. And I used to do multi-drop deliveries years and years ago. Oh my god, the amount they expected you to get done in a day. And you say to her, you know, but you give me the West End of London, you know what the traffic's like round there. Yeah, but you'll knock out 50 jobs in a couple of hours. Yeah, right. No pressure. There was something else I heard mentioned about this, and I don't think it's in 1.35. I think there's a possibility in the future of multi-drop deliveries, which would be interesting. Especially for the people that like route planning and don't like using the sat-nav and whatnot, like I am lazily at the moment. I'm sure Clumsy in particular would love that, multi-drops with his... well, he does like to navigate old-fashioned style. Can understand why. I mean, to be honest, sat-navs have made us all lazy over the years. but it's still a very, very useful tool. Woo, 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 woo. I do like the addition of the extra speed on the wipers. Right, well, let's get this out of the way. It'll be time to end the stream. Go off and get some dinner. Say hello to the wife. Has to be done every now and again. And see what mods I can get to work with this on 1.35. And also look into this sound. I think it's an issue that I've not got environmental sounds, but I'm just not 100%. I don't know whether I'm chasing something that's not there or not, which is quite frustrating because I just can't find an answer to a simple question. Do the cars on the road make any noise? Should I hear thunder when I see lightning? Well, common sense would tell me, yes, I should do. Which is what makes me think I've got an issue somewhere, but... Oh my god, that is really close. 14 miles, 22 minutes. I'm sure this game cheats you, you know. It seems to take away any spare time that you might have had. Steal it from you so that you're almost late. Which means I'll be under pressure to park the damn thing quickly. Unless of course you pause the game and teleport. My newest friend, the teleport system. Oh, he wasn't going to let me go, was he? Oh, some big bump. I noticed the bumps in the road a lot more since they've changed the suspension physics and the cab physics in this latest version. Which I think, whoops, no, wrong button, which I think is quite neat. Now, the one thing I would be able to like to do in game is to jump into a car and drive that around every now and again. Now, I don't know if there's any mods that allow you to do that. You have arrived at your destination. Well, that's the other thing that's puzzling me as well at the moment. Are we going to get voice-guided sat-nav? Now, people have found stuff in the files that suggest it may be coming, which would be absolutely excellent. No, wrong way again. Always turn the wrong way first of all. Never get it right. Oh, no, done it again. Sure it's something I'll get used to in another 100 years. Is that going to be acceptable? Should be. Woohoo! Job done. Oh, well, if you've been watching now or in the future, thank you very much for the company and whatnot. I will leave it there for the time being. It's just another brief insight into 1.35. If anybody can answer my questions about environmental sounds and stuff like that, please do leave a note and let me know. I would find it very helpful. Other than that, I shall wish everybody goodbye, adios, etc., etc. Hope you have a great weekend, a great day, a great night, etc., etc., etc. And I shall catch you all later. Take care, people.